hear me now? Checking 1, 2, 3.
No.
Here, I can try these on.
I'm in the back of a truck.
Maybe these are plugged up.
I'm in the back of a truck.
Right,
I hear you now.
Okay,
Somebody's in the back of the truck.
That's right.
he hears us now. How you doing?
I'm good. How are y'all?
It is Tuesday with the mayor, and County Mayor Jim Durrett joins us. And we'll get down to particulars in a minute. But we had this challenge. Everything's Halloween.
Yeah.
And we're getting ready to go with Thanksgiving. We're going to talk about Thanksgiving because the day after Thanksgiving, the ice skating rink's supposed to open.
That's right.
But we had a challenge that said they could not tell you, if you were blindfolded, you could not tell the difference between pumpkin pie and sweet potato pie.
Who said that?
I think it's bogus.
I do too.
I think it's bogus. I think his wife must be tricking him or something.
Yeah, she ain't a good cook.
Yeah, I wasn't gonna say that.
I don't know who called in and said that. I may ought to retract that.
I mean, if they're interchangeable, her sweet potato is interchangeable with a pumpkin pie, and he can't tell the difference. He needs to get out more, I think.
Yeah, I agree.
I think he needs to get out.
I agree.
Yeah,
I think I could taste the difference.
I can. I think I could. I know I could if it was my mother's.
Yeah.
I know it was my mama's or my wife's pie, my wife's sweet potato pie. And some of the store-bought sweet potato pies are pretty good.
Yeah,
I've had a couple of them. Mrs. Smith, and I can't. There was this other one John and I were trying to think of, but I think that we could tell the difference between sweet potato and the pumpkin pie. So you doing okay?
I'm doing good.
Been busy?
I have been. I had a little time off. I enjoyed that, and back in the grind.
Back in the groove.
Yeah.
Good. Okay, so we want to talk about the ice skating rink. They had a big article in the paper yesterday. It's going to open up the day after Thanksgiving, so it's on schedule then.
It is. Chuck, the whole park won't be open. We're going to hold off on some landscaping, and we're probably going to hold off on our side till after the winter. Mm-hmm. Probably put it in the spring. Everything's going to be prepared. It won't be a lot of stuff that'll have to be done, but really landscaping and probably the side, we're going to wait till then. If we put the side down now, it's a Bermuda side. It's going to be dormant. And so during a rain event or something, or, and if we get some snow, it's just going to be muddy up there. So we're going to end up with a gravel base up there, and we're going to put some rubber mats out where people can walk on their skates.
Right.
And we just made that decision. I think it's going to save us money because I think we'd get back into probably re-siding some.
Do it all over again.
Yeah, but we want I cannot believe the excitement about ice skating. It's just unreal.
Yeah, well, it's unreal. John and I were talking about it earlier. I don't know. Did you see the news story on, I think it was Channel 5, where they were talking about the growth in the Antioch area of Nashville?
Yeah.
And one of the main reasons for that growth is their ice skating rink that they just built. It's the hub of all things going on. And I went, what is the deal? And they're open, Mayor, 17 hours a day.
Yeah, it's crazy.
17 hours a day to accommodate all the people that want to ice skate.
Well, we looked at Bowling Green. I'm trying to look on my phone to see how many views this one post has had. Hang on just a second. I shared the link about the downtown ice skating rink starts day after Thanksgiving. It's reached 27,000 people on my Facebook page.
Already.
And so, Chuck, we looked at that, and it's something we talked about. Jeff Truitt and I actually talked about it the year I was elected in September, and we looked into the possibility of putting it down in Veterans Plaza. Mm-hmm. And number one, we were operating under a budget that we didn't have the money to do it in. It was a budget that was approved before I was elected. And number two, that was really number two, too. We didn't have the money.
Right.
And we probably could have gone to the commission, but being very new in the administration. And then the Downtown Commons came along, and as we started that process, I told the folks, I said, look, I want to make sure that we have the infrastructure in to put a temporary ice skating rink in out there every year. And so we've done that, and we're going to have one this year, and it's going to be absolutely awesome.
All right, John.
I got to tell you a little fact about it. I say fact. My numbers aren't going to be exactly right, but we have really communicated a lot with the people in Rapid City, South Dakota, that have a park that's very similar to
Rapid
ours.
City, South Dakota.
Rapid City, South Dakota. They have, I think, 4 indoor sheets of ice, and they're a community of about 69,000, and they have over 30,000 outdoor skaters. Now, they've got 4 sheets of ice that are inside, but people want to go outside and ice skate.
Well, that's the way they have it in the movies. Every time you see the movies, they're ice skating, and they're outside. But anyway, County Mayor Jim Durrett is our guest. He's going to be with us for a few minutes this morning here on Tuesday with the mayor. We need to take a break. Time now for a Sports Now update on the Big 1400, brought to you by Coffee Break and Cheesecake.
This Sports Now update is presented by Coffee Break and Cheesecake at 1191 Fort Campbell Boulevard, Suite F, where they serve homemade cheesecakes made with only the finest ingredients.
The Ohio Valley Conference will host their annual men's and women's basketball preseason media event today in Evansville, Indiana, the site of the league's 2018 postseason tournament. The OVC tournament has taken place in the league's home city, Nashville, for 23 of the past 24 years, with a 2002 trip to Louisville, the lone diversion. In an early effort to sell the Evansville community on OVC basketball, 11 of the conference's head coaches joined forces yesterday to host a youth clinic at the local YMCA. About 75 kids participated in the event, receiving a YMCA basketball and free tickets to the 2018 OVC Hoops Tournament. Now to the lanes, where both the boys and girls bowling teams at Clarksville Academy picked up region wins last night over the University School of Nashville. The Cougars won 20-7, led by Dawson Bagwell, who bowled a team-high 219. The Lady Cougars, with the help of a school record 246, bowled by Leah Hayes, bested USN 19-8. Lastly, today we take you to the NBA because the Memphis Grizzlies are off to a red-hot start, their best since 2014. The Grizzlies are 3-0 after taking down the Houston Rockets on the road last night, 98-90. Memphis center Marc Gasol was largely responsible for the win, putting up a team-high 26 points and making a difference on defense as the Grizzlies ended the game on a 20-2 run. The Grizzlies will continue their Western road swing on Wednesday night in Dallas against the Mavericks. From the WJZM Sports Desk, this is Sports Now, and I'm Justin Swallows.
How does a quality cup of coffee and a delicious hunk of homemade cheesecake sound right now? It should sound like a trip to Coffee Break and Cheesecake. They're the home of the area's best homemade cheesecake and naturally sourced coffee from the Dominican Republic. Stop in today and choose a slice from their huge list of options, including vegan and gluten-free choices. At Coffee Break and Cheesecake, they make everything with the best available ingredients, and they're waiting to serve you now at 1191 Fort Campbell Boulevard, Suite F, just past Dover Crossing.
The Big 1400, WJZM Radio. Don't forget that Sports Now update comes your way at 9:20, brought to you by Mr. Appliance this morning on the Big 1400. It is Tuesday with the mayor. We're talking with County Mayor Jim Durrett, and we're talking about the downtown area. We're talking about what's going on downtown. Well, we're talking about the skating rink, the ice skating rink. I want to just a minute, Mayor. The ice skating rink, the cost will be very affordable from what I read.
Yeah, and it's a budget neutral item. It's going to cost us some money to rent the thing. We've got a company that's actually going to come in and run it. But we have the opportunity, number one, to sell sponsorships, and we've been just overwhelmed with sponsorship opportunities. So we've really maxed out our sponsorships, which we thought we may do, but we weren't sure, and they went in an instant. As soon as we made a phone call, everybody wanted in. And then there'll be a nominal fee to skate, and hopefully if we can get some people to sponsor free skate nights. We can have discount nights, and so there's all kinds of cool things we're going to do with it.
I guess my problem is that I'm thinking, what are you going to do in the middle of July? But this is all year round, correct?
Yeah, I mean, the downtown commons, the skating rink will come out in February.
Right.
And so the commons is going to be just a gathering place. We're going to have all kinds of events up there. I met with a group of Clarksville Academy students last Friday, and they're actually putting together a play on the history of Montgomery County. I think that would be a great night up there, say a Thursday night, is come see Clarksville Academy's rendition of the history of Montgomery County. And I think a lot of people will come to that.
It's just interesting to think about ice skating. So February is when it ends?
Yeah, and we'll kind of do that based on the weather, but more than likely it'll be sometime around the middle to the latter part of February.
March gets pretty cool. It's pretty cool.
It
so
does.
I might run a little.
It does. We could run it longer.
Yeah.
We could run it longer, but I think that the whole key to this whole thing is the venue itself, is Downtown Commons.
Right.
And since we broke ground down there, we've seen $8.5 million worth of real estate transactions within probably a 2.5 block radius of the Commons. We hadn't seen real estate transactions like that in our downtown since pre-tornado.
Yeah.
The vacant lots at the corner of Commerce and 3rd Street, 2 vacant lots, they've sold. It's an out-of-town developer, and he's looking at a $10 million investment with retail on the bottom, with residential on top, upscale residential. And if you think about that from a tax-based standpoint, if we go out and take a 7-acre tract out Wilma Rudolph Boulevard or out Martin Luther King Boulevard, wherever, and we develop that, well, that puts some strain on our services, or a residential development even. It puts a bigger strain on your services. But if you redevelop in downtown, your services are there. It's not, your infrastructure's there, and so it's not putting a burden on the government to be able to provide those services, and you get a better bang for your tax. You get a better bang for your buck, and it's the absolute best way to increase your tax base. If we can raise our tax base, we can keep our tax rate low. So it's not just let's provide a place for people to come. There's some strategies behind it, some financial strategies behind it as well.
The development downtown, it seems to be that there more and more people are coming on board with, let's build up the downtown area. Have you noticed that?
Yeah, and we were talking when you were doing your sports break about the Cunningham family. They've typically done residential, some commercial developments, but they ventured out a couple of years ago and did the Old Glory Distillery. Now they're coming downtown, and I think it's going to be called Strawberry Alley Restaurant and Brew Works. A very, very nice restaurant with really large private banquet rooms if you want to have those things, but very open air. The windows will be where you can open them, and you can sit at a stool with a bar in front of you and just sit right there at the window, and people walking down the sidewalk 3 or 4 feet in front of you. And we just hadn't had that type of stuff. Yeah. And it's going to be neat, man.
So growing, and are we running out of space downtown? I mean, because I look and I think, okay, there's Riverside Drive, and then, you go over to 2nd Street, 3rd Street, and
I don't think we're running out of space, but I think there's a lot of redevelopment opportunities. If you look at the Federal Building, has sold. And Yada Yada Coffee Shop, which is down on Strawberry Alley, they probably got, I don't know how many square feet. It's pretty small, but they have a booming business. They're going to come up to the Federal Building, take the whole top level, turn it into a nice restaurant. On the back side of it, they're going to have an outdoor patio with a bar outside. And the inside, I've seen a picture of the bar that they're proposing to put inside. I mean, it's fantastic. It's fantastic. It's going to bring people downtown. I give Jeff Robinson a lot of credit. He's hung in there with a black horse, but they got a good product, number one. They got a really good product. It's consistent. But it is a go-to place downtown, and people want those type of opportunities. They want to be able to, instead of going to the Black Horse, they want to maybe go to Edwards, or they may want to go to the Rue. And now we're going to just provide more opportunities, and with more opportunities, it's going to bring more people.
Yeah, and then bring more people to those people, as you said, like Jeff, who have stuck with it.
Yeah.
And some of the other merchants down there, downtown, who have, garment places. And
yeah, I mean, if you look at Regattas and Kaylee Drew's place, Couture Crush, I think is the name of it. There's been several that have been down there a long time. Where Cloud 9 used to be, just yesterday, a place opened up called Hot Pita. And I went by there about 12:30, and you couldn't have stuck another person in it. It looked like a bunch of sardines in a can. You like sardines?
Yes.
I do, too.
I grew up. It's not something I eat all the time, but on occasion, you know, I've gotten do you like them in mustard or chili sauce?
I like them mustard, chili. I like them straight up on a cracker. It don't matter.
You got to have those saltines.
Oh, yeah.
You got to have a saltine with them. What do you do with them, John? You put a little hot sauce on them?
I like a little hot sauce. So
Yeah.
Little
He likes hot
Tabasco.
sauce on everything.
You know, you can actually take them and mush them up, pour a little apple cider vinegar on them, chop up some real fine onion, mix it up, salt and pepper them real good, and eat it as a spread. Man, it tastes like it's something you get at the Taj Mahal.
That sounds good. I'm going to have to try that.
We're just having this food thing going on. We started with the
Sweet
pumpkin
potato
pie
pie,
and sweet
pumpkin
potato
pie.
pie. Now we're going on to Dean's, you know, the sardines. But County Mayor Jim Durrett's our guest here on the Big 1400. The school system. Now, the big deal, and I know it's just we talked before about it, it's just in basically the paperwork stages, but you're going to move forward with this?
Yeah, and you know, that's probably the biggest issue that we're looking at right now. It's our growth is just unbelievable, and I think part of that's what's going on downtown. I think it's part of what's happening at Austin Peay State University. I think it's part of Hancock. I think it's part of LG. I think it's part of Google. I think it's just part of a big combination of a lot of things. But at our 40-day mark, which is usually a pretty good benchmark to look at 40 days into the school year, I think we're up a little over 12 or 1,300 students than we were last year. Last year, we grew all the way even past Christmas holidays. I think one day in January, we grew like 14 students. And so we've got to address that. And we're looking at a lot of different options on how to address it. I personally want to address it. I don't want to put out the fire that's burning over here, and then another one's going to pop up a year later, and another one's going to pop up a year later. I want to put a fire protection plan in, for lack of a better words, that's gonna get us through this. And I personally think that we can do it without property taxes. We're looking at maybe dedicating some of our when these big companies come in. We give them some tax breaks, and then after maybe about 3 years of operation, they start paying some tax payments. And so we're going to look at possibly dedicating some of those funds to school construction. And, you know, I'll say this. I've got a meeting this afternoon with the school board or with the school system. And I think they need to look at themselves, too. I think they need to we have not had a countywide rezoning in quite some time. And I think we need to look at that. We've got some empty seats in some of our schools. And so I think we need to maximize our space. You know, it's... I probably shouldn't say this, but I'm going to say it. It's pretty easy for somebody else to spend money that's not theirs. And I don't say the school system does that, but they need to start helping carry the sword. We're carrying the sword, we being the county commission, and they need to start carrying the sword as well. And I think they need to do some things that maybe makes carrying that sword a little bit easier. And one is countywide rezoning. I've told Millard House that before I could support going to the commission with anything, I've got to see that you've taken every effort you could take.
And they're doing their part.
That they do their part. And I think they're doing that. We'll find out more at our meeting today with them. But it's you know, we went through a spurt in the 90s when we had a lot of industry growth and we had a lot of school growth during that time period. And I think we're seeing that same thing now with Hancock, with LG, with Google. So, you know, I think there's going to be some tough years in front of us. I know we got to grow. School system bought some property out in Kirkwood years ago, and there's a lot of commissioners that don't think that's the right location. There's not a lot of infrastructure out there. And so...
that's going towards Guthrie?
Yeah. Yeah.
Arkadelphia, I think.
Yeah, Arkadelphia. It's out there by close to where Union Carbide used to be. So I think that's going to be some conversations that occur. And, we want to do it in a very diplomatic way, in a very civil way, and hopefully we can get a resolution.
Yeah. Jim, and I guess one of the things is that years ago, the state was all over us, because of, we had so many portables, and we had that's one of the things we have to be careful, because the state is still coming in looking at us.
We do, and we've reduced some portables, but we're probably going to have to get back in some of them with this unexpected but somewhat expected growth. But, Chuck, you bring up something. If you look around in everything that you see, we're either the second or the third best school system in the state of Tennessee. And that's one reason that LGs and Googles and Hankook want to come here. There's a lot of other reasons. But that is something that a lot of industries look at, and people look at it. And so we've got this great school system, and we need to maintain that quality. I think it's very, very important that we maintain that quality. And so we've got to figure out a way to maintain that quality and handle our growth. And I think we can do it.
Yeah. County Mayor Jim Durrett is our guest here on the Big 1400. It is Tuesday with the mayor. Money always comes up, doesn't it?
Yeah.
It's always part of it, But I guess, as you said, being proactive is what you're trying to do as the chief executive for the county, Montgomery County. And I guess having said that, you look at, okay, the school system needs to do their due diligence. We're going to do our part. We've got some options that we can go with. And I guess it's, collectively coming to the best option that you can use.
Exactly.
To grow.
Exactly. And, I go back to what I said about, I just don't think we ought to go over here and put out this little fire and this little fire and this little fire. I think we ought to have a plan, a plan to fight all those fires. And, unfortunately, I guess from about 2014 back 20 plus years, we were building a school about every 1.4 years, whether it be an elementary, a middle, or a high school. And that's a pretty big burden on our debt.
What do we have, 30,000 students right at?
No, it's probably about 34,000. It may be pushing 35 right now.
Okay.
But unfortunately, our leadership had always, they'd get by and then they'd raise the taxes, and then they'd get by and they'd raise property taxes, and they never looked at our wheel tax. And so, I think if we put some things in motion where we've got some dedicated funding that will go towards schools, then I think that helps us, and it still allows county government to be able to do the things that we need to do, and we can keep our tax rate low, and I think that's important.
So you got I guess you got your meeting with the school system this afternoon, then the county commission meeting. You're going to continue on with that path, bringing it before them, or you still going to have town hall meetings?
I don't think you'll see anything coming before the county commission in November. Well, I know you won't. But the dialogue is starting, and it's getting heavier and heavier. And so probably what we'll do, depending on the results of this meeting this afternoon, we will probably bring our budget committee in and let our budget committee sit down with the school system as well. And then we'll kind of see what approach we want to take, and then we'll take that, whatever that looks like, whatever that strategy looks like, we'll take that forward to the county commission.
Yeah, as if you don't have enough on your plate. What about the downtown arena? Okay.
Yeah, yeah. It's just part of the whole thing. We're moving forward on it, and we actually yesterday we sat down with some construction management firms. and did some interviews with some firms. Next week, we've got some interviews with some design firms. And this is just to get us to we're going to have some schematic drawings. It's pre-development work. We're going to be looking at the site, make sure that...
Where are you exactly? Where is the site?
Well, we're looking downtown, anywhere between 2nd Street and Riverside Drive.
Okay.
And maybe bordered by, let's say, Main Street and Commerce Street. Obviously, if you go all the way to Commerce, you got City Hall in there. So we're kind of, excuse me, we're kind of looking at along the College Street corridor that comes up from Riverside Drive. And, you know, I'm excited about where we are with it. And this step is going to get us to a point where we have a true cost estimate, where we have renderings, where we know that it'll fit on the facility, where we know we've got to address infrastructure being parking, infrastructure being some of our roadways leading in and out to the facility. And so it's just part of the due diligence that we have to do, but we're on track and we're working on that. And hopefully April, May timeframe, that process will be completed and we can possibly go to the commission with another request for some budget for maybe design.
High times.
Yeah, and I tell you, you know, I was thinking about it sitting out in the vehicle before I walked in. You know, we get a lot of pushback on some of these projects, and I think a lot of it is really a loud minority. It's not a silent majority, which I think we have a silent majority. We have a loud minority that people that are opposed to some of these things. But if you just look at the investment that we made with Downtown Commons, right around $6 million, the city has $1 million in it. And we've seen $8.5 million worth of real estate transactions that have occurred since we broke ground. And we've got a project just one project that's estimated at a $10 million project. I mean, it's going to pay for itself. And so I think we have to do some things that, to me, it's no different than what we've done to incentivize Hancock. It's no different than what we've done to incentivize Google. And I'm not picking on Hancock or Google or LG, but you do things to create things.
Right.
And the government sometimes has to be involved in that. And I honestly believe that you do it. Sometimes it's a government, sometimes it's a public-private partnership. And we're looking at an opportunity right beside Downtown Commons of about a $28 million public-private opportunity. We've got developers that have come in here from Florida. We've had some from New York that are interested in doing that project. It's a project that was basically came out of the TRC, and it's so much interest in it. And so it's, Chuck, I'll be honest with you, it's exciting. It really is.
I'm excited.
There's challenges. I promise you, there's challenges every day, but it's exciting what we can be. And I think we can be, I don't want to be Nashville, but I don't want to hear somebody come up to me and say, well, why can't we have this or why can't we have that? Why do I have to go to Nashville for this? Why do I have to go to Nashville for that? There's some things you're always going to have to go to Nashville. You're going to have to go to Nashville to see the Titans. You're going to have to go there to see the Predators. But, man, if we could have a junior pro hockey team here, if we could have a concert here where Jim and Chuck get up on stage and sing melodies all night long and people are going to come and listen, I mean, we don't have we don't have that venue, and we need that venue. And I'll tell you, it's when you talk about this multi-purpose event center, if you look at, I think Austin P is a perfect example. Are we okay on time?
We're good.
If you look what Austin P did with their stadium, they upgraded their stadium, and they did it for a number of reasons. But number one, they had to have a facility that they could recruit to. But if you look at what's occurred over there, it's no longer a football game. It's an event. It's a social event.
It is.
And we were talking about it yesterday, that a lot of people go there as a social experience, and the game is just background noise.
What's going on down there?
That's right. Yeah, why is everybody yelling, oh, we scored a touchdown? But you have a university that had a football team that lost 29 straight games, and last year they were putting 5,000 people in the stands. for a perennial loser.
Right.
I don't want to call them that because I don't think they're that. But they've created so much energy and so much buzz. That football team and that university and the leadership of the university have created so much buzz in our community. That's going to be a hard ticket to get. And we think we can do the exact same thing with the Multipurpose Event Center. We think we can create a venue that will become a hard ticket to get. Not everyone will be a hard ticket to get, but they'll be hard tickets to get.
Right. And it'll grow, and I think that Clarksville's ready for something like that. You know,
I do too.
The growth, and as you were talking earlier about how companies like Hankook and LG and Google, they look at the quality of life for their employees, which is families, schools, and everything. And I think it's important when you can lay on the table, this is what we've got. We got this event center, and we've got this ice rink, and we've got those things, multiple things.
Yeah, and if we can bring like an organization like the Nashville Predators in to run the facility, who are very interested in running it, they're running the 4th busiest arena in the United States. They were just voted by ESPN as the best
franchise,
professional franchise.
Period. Football, baseball,
period. And so they run a venue there that they don't have hockey there every night. That hockey has an off season, but they run a very successful venue there. And so if they can bring that management and expertise to Clarksville, you know, we're not going to get the Garth Brooks of the world, but there's a lot of up-and-coming people that a lot of people want to go see. And if we can have them here, then people are going to come from Bowling Green. They're going to come from Nashville. They're going to come from Dixon, Hopkinsville. They're going to come in our community. They're going to spend money. A lot of them are going to spend the night.
Right.
Yeah.
Jim Durrett, thank you.
Thank y'all.
Good seeing you. County Mayor Jim Durrett, it is Tuesday with the mayor here on the Big 1400. We need to take a break. We'll be back right after this.
For real estate services, Byers & Harvey can do it all. Real estate sales, rentals, property management, commercial and residential development. Byers & Harvey is Clarksville's oldest independent real estate company and has given continuous service since 1878. Byers & Harvey have 3 locations to serve you: in North Clarksville, in the heart of downtown, and at Sango. For more information and listings, visit them online at byersandharvey.com. byersandharvey.com. Byers & Harvey, Clarksville's real estate company.
What if you suddenly found yourself unable to pay your electric bill? Fortunately, help is available. It's called Project Help. By adding an extra $1 to your monthly electric bill, Project Help makes it possible for many in this community to keep the lights and heat on during the cold winter months. Project Help donations are distributed by agencies in this community which treat all applicants with fairness and compassion. This message brought to you by CEMC, Cumberland Electric Membership Corporation, a proud sponsor of Project Help.
Why settle for less when you can get more at Wyatt Johnson in Clarksville, your winning team in Kentucky and Tennessee?